There's something happening with the Iraqi dinar, and I want to talk about it today. But I have to stress that I want to tread very lightly when I talk about this topic. I'm going to go over a news story, something that's happening that honestly hundreds of thousands of people have been expecting or waiting for a very long time. It's happening right now, right before our eyes. But I tread lightly because I'm going to also share a personal story and something I've done. The reason why I tread lightly is because a lot of people have speculated very heavy in this market, comparing the Iraqi dinar to the US dollar. And as we see the BRICS nations separate, and we see countries like Iraq, countries that we've spent a lot of money trying to help out, walk away from the US system, and I can't say that I blame them, I don't want people to think this is financial advice, okay? I'm going to talk about my personal story. You can put down below, hashtag the Iraqi dinar or the IQD if you own any of it, okay? So the story, the news story, is the first one we're going to go over. Well, actually, no, I'm going to give you a little bit of history. Right now, the Kuwaiti dinar, it takes $3.25, $3 to buy one Kuwaiti dinar. But it wasn't always like that. When we first moved in to attack, to liberate Kuwait, I have to use my words wisely because I do not believe the government was doing good. The Kuwaiti dinar went from, it's always sat around $3 to a US dollar, similar to how the Iraqi dinar used to be. It was always worth more than the US dollar, especially in the 90s. The Kuwaiti dinar collapsed to 5 cents. You could take a nickel and buy a Kuwaiti dinar. Fast forward to when we knocked Saddam Hussein back, Bill Clinton made a very important announcement, and that for the betterment of, for lack of better terms, the Kuwaiti people, we're going to go ahead and restore the value of the Kuwaiti dinar back to what it was. Little did most people know that our government officials had bought up a ton of Kuwaiti dinar. But because the internet wasn't what it is now, it was very easy to hide. Now I'm going to go to what's going on in Iraq with the dinar. And then I'm going to tell you a personal story and some information that I had found on the internet that blew my mind. So this story is out of IraqNews.com. It says the US dollar exchange rate drops in Baghdad. It says the US dollar exchange rate against the Iraqi dinar declined in Baghdad, and the capital of the Kurdistan region of Iraq, Erbil, on Tuesday, with the closure of two main stock exchanges in the country. The US dollar exchange rate fell with the closure of Baghdad's, both of these two stock exchanges, where the US dollar rate reached 1,469 dinars compared to 1,472 dinars on Tuesday morning. You may think that that's not that big of a jump, but just, that's a massive rise in value against the dollar to what it used to stand at a mere couple years ago. It says the exchange rate in the currency exchange shops in Baghdad ranged between 1,480 dinars and 1,460 dinars. We're talking about compared to the US dollar. The news reported. It says the Central Bank of Iraq announced in February 2023 that it started to apply a new exchange rate of the US dollar, which we reported on this channel back then, which is $1,300 against one US dollar. And many of you may think, well, why is that that big change? So if the central bank said 1,300 to 1, why is it different in exchange shops? There's two totally different markets going on right now. The previous official exchange rate was 1,450 dinars to one US dollar, which was being exchanged in the parallel market at a rate of 1,550 dinars. Now, the reason why that's important is because Iraq made an announcement that they're going to be no longer settling trade as of last January in US dollars. This is a big deal, and we're going to explain a little bit more why. But the story finishes, it says in January of 2023, the exchange rate for the US dollar against local currency reached 1,610 dinars, while the official exchange rate remained at 1,450 dinars per dollar, with a gap between the two exchange rates of more than 10%. All right. Now, again, this is not financial advice. I'm going to tell you a personal story. I had I can't say coming to Jesus moment, because I can honestly say I don't know if this was me or what happened. But I started diving into the history of the dinar and what the US government did to the Kuwaiti dinar, and then what it did to the Iraqi dinar. And in 2009, I came across some videos, very special video from a general that was in charge of bringing US dollars, pallets and pallets of them, over in the early 2000s during the war, and said that they were going to pull the exact same scheme they did to the Kuwaiti dinar. And they were going to revalue the dinar. I wish I could find that video again. I can't. I saw videos on public access TV talking about this as well. I had a waking vision one day, and that's the only thing I can explain, because I remember going into my barber's office or shop, and I told him, I said, hey, I went ahead and bought some of that Iraqi dinar like you were talking about. And he goes, what are you talking about? And I said, that the Iraqi dinar, I finally bought some, because in one day I'd heard something about it 3 times. And when I hear something 3 times in one day, I get real quiet. And I finally went and bought some. And I learned about how difficult it was to buy it. As a matter of fact, you can go into these banks that do currency exchanges, and you could buy any currency all over the world except for two, the Vietnamese dong and the Iraqi dinar. As I'm looking at the charts, I'm seeing that the Iraqi dinar is the only currency going up, and this is back in like 2009, 2010, versus the US dollar. It's the only one. And the more I studied it, I'm like, there's something off. There's something weird. Something doesn't fit. And so I would go to managers at banks, which they don't know much at all, and I would say, why do you think I can't buy it? Oh, like, it's for your security. I'm like, wait, you're trying to keep me from making a profit? Because that's the only thing you're stopping me from. And when I bought it, and I didn't go hog wild, on a percentage basis to my net worth, it was, I want to say I paid like 1,950 Iraq dinar to $1. And right now, it's worth a lot more than that. Exponential growth, actually. And my barber told me, he goes, dude, we never had that conversation. He's like, I don't know anything about the dinar. And I'm like, I remember it like it was yesterday. Like, we had a conversation. And I don't know if I had a vision or what. I don't know. But I'll tell you, the day that I heard about 3 times, I started to dive into it. Well, when I started reading about the Iraqi National Central Bank buying up gold and how they were really questioning their relationship with the U.S., I went, oh man, they're gonna separate. And it's interesting how people have that normalcy bias. For the last, since, let's say, right before we moved in to go and attack Saddam Hussein after 9/11, the Iraqi dinar was worth multiples of dollars. $1, it wasn't a 1-for-1 exchange. It took multiple dollars to buy an Iraqi dinar. And then it collapsed in value. Killed Saddam Hussein. And then all of a sudden, because Saddam Hussein was getting really powerful, and he was trying to gather these nations up to go against the US. And many people don't remember this, but Gaddafi didn't want to sell his oil in dollars anymore. He wanted to sell it in gold. Saddam Hussein, and he was dead within, like, drugged through the streets, and that was done on purpose so that other world leaders could see what the U.S. does to people that say this. Because I remember watching Gaddafi talking about this and what the U.S. is doing to all these countries, holding them hostage at a UN meeting. Type 1, if you remember seeing that. It was a pretty crazy video. He's drugged through the streets behind a pickup truck a handful of weeks later. Saddam Hussein came out, and here we're in this war and trying to knock him back, just like what happened in Kuwait, right? Operation Desert Storm. I believe that was, Operation Desert Storm. And we knocked him back, but this next time, we've got this multi-year war going on. It wasn't until he came out and he said, hey, I don't want to sell oil in dollars anymore. I want to sell it in euros. He was dead and hung. And again, the video was released. So it's a sign to all these other leaders within weeks of that. I think it was within a month of that call. Type 2, if you remember that. Because a lot of people don't understand these geopolitics. So you start seeing all these other world leaders. You know, we had some problems in Syria. That sort of went away, right? All these countries, so Saddam Hussein was trying to get all these countries' leaders together to walk away, right? And here's the problem. I mean, you got like somebody on here saying, I'm lying. I'm like, there are people out there that are so stupid, so foolish. They can't even get on Google and test someone's words. It's crazy. And this is all recent history, right? This isn't ancient history. So he was trying to get all these countries together. Well, now that's done. He's dead. Gaddafi's dead. And don't get me wrong, I think these guys weren't good people at all. But they were trying to walk away from the US dollar hegemony. Well, now you've got the BRICS have done it. I'm gonna do a story later about what Venezuela just did. I mean, this is happening so fast, and there's no rockets being fired. There's no wars. See, a little while back, what would happen when a leader came out and says, we're not doing this anymore. Venezuela just announced it, no more oil for dollars, right? Saudi Arabia has done it. All these other countries, we're not doing this anymore. Done, gone. We're trading in other currencies. You don't see any wars because they're guys running our country right now. Type 3 if you understand what I'm talking about. And yeah, I got to tread lightly. And that's why I started that newsletter. So if you don't mind joining the free newsletter, because you never know. You know, there's a point at which, you know, I can make jokes, and I'm trying to wake people up to the realities of this next real estate and economic cycle. It's going to collapse so that rich people can get richer. I don't want that. I want you to become wealthier than you ever have. So I use humor and comedy, but sometimes you got like, hey, I got to get real and tell you, like, first off, being wealthy is not very difficult. It just takes discipline, right? It's like diet and exercise. I mean, come on. You know, I know if I diet it was better with my eating and exercised, I'd look great and feel great. So trust me, I'm right there with a lot of people, right? I do know, and am more disciplined with my finances. And yeah, I got to get better on other things. That's just the fact. I'm overweight. But like at some point you're like, got to get real with people and go, look, this stuff's really happening, right? So the dinar is going up in value. The Iraqi central bank has been buying up gold feverishly, and they're walking away from our government. And I'm telling you right now, there are deals that have already been made between their government and the BRICS governments that they know they're going to be fine. And there is a path to getting them back, their currency back to where it was. Now, I'm not telling you to go buy dinar. As a matter of fact, it's one of those things that people think are going to happen overnight. Now, I bought mine back in like 2009, 2010. Okay? Do I cry that it hasn't happened yet? Nope. Do I buy any more freaking out because it's going to happen tomorrow? No, I don't. Grounded reality is what makes and perseverance, and that makes wealthy people, right? So that's why I don't want to go really heavy on this topic, but I really want to put the pieces. I know that's my gift, being able to put the pieces together to get most people to understand the big picture here, okay? The BRICS knows their guy's in the White House right now because their guy is a total wuss and won't do anything. Thank you, Sea-Dog, for the super chat. And as frustrated and stressed out as you are about that, trust me, I want to start wearing a clown suit every time I talk about him. I'm probably going to buy one, or a monkey suit. But my point being is that you have to take these opportunities to take advantage of them. Yeah, bad things are coming. That's the truth. I mean, I report the news all the time. It's bad. You know, I did start this channel talking about the quantum financial system, and it is a digital system. It is totally different. And I want people to be ready well before that mark of the beast comes out and you're forced to have a chip on your right hand or your forehead. This is real stuff. It's gonna happen. When? I have no clue. But I can tell you what, you're gonna be able to buy a lot of time when you have wealth, and you're not relying on the system. You know, the Bible says to be in this world but not of it, right? Well, it's the same thing with the financial system. You're being in the financial system, but you're not of it. You've got multiple outs. And yeah, let me ask you this, and this is curious. Type 5 if you own the dinar, if you own any of it. And again, I'm really wanting to be really hesitant on this because there's a lot of scams out there. There are some authorized sellers of it on eBay and some other places because the banking system will not allow you to own it. That should be a red flag right there. Anytime the government's like, don't buy it. It's like all the time when they were saying, don't buy Bitcoin. Look at all the people that went out and bought Bitcoin when the government's like, it's a scam, don't buy it. And they're buying stuff in the background, all of them. And look at all the people that missed the run from, let's say 500 when I started till now. I mean, that's just real. Like you could hate me, get pissed off at me, whatever. I did it, you know? And it's going to go even higher. You're going to see $1 million Bitcoin. I know it sounds crazy. What about all the people that say, don't buy silver, don't buy gold. It's a scam. But yet they own it. There are famous people that make like $1 billion a year on YouTube that are telling you they loathe gold and hate it, and they own it. They just want you to buy their products. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that absolutely crazy? So anytime the government comes out and says, don't buy something, people go, smart people go, why? Because you are planning on doing something with it? Because the government's type 6, and I only say 6 because it's the devil's number. If you believe the government is not here to help you and they actually want to dissuade you from things and they want to ultimately be your savior, I'd be typing 6 like you wouldn't believe right now, because that's what I believe. So it's almost super easy to figure out how to be successful, and all you have to do is go opposite of the entire world system, the government system. And as they're running around mocking you, saying, hey, a broken clock's right twice every day, you're an idiot. And I go, yeah, bet against me. Because when it comes time for that broken clock to be right, I'm going to own everything you lost. And that's the true meaning of this channel. And if you appreciate that, do me a favor and sign up for the free newsletter, because, and this is what we're doing. We give you recaps every day of what I'm filming, and then you get to see the videos because they don't want to share them. And we figured out some cool things. And you know what? Honestly, there's so much breakthrough and so much change happening in people's lives. I'm so humbled. I can't even answer 1/10 of the emails every day. I'm blessed every time I get an email from one of you. Matter of fact, I'm about to go on my other channel. And if you haven't seen it, it's called Real Estate Ninja. If you don't mind checking it out, I'm going to go live in a little bit and share a story of someone that's having hardship but found some amazing success and peace because of something that came from this channel. And I'm telling you right now, this is not me. Between two things, God, that sent his son Jesus Christ to die for my sins because I'm an utter failure, and all of you awesome people, that's why this channel is a success. And it's going to keep growing, keep getting bigger, because we're going to keep reaching more people, and we're going to absolutely dominate this next crash. We are going to buy up all of the idiot stuff. And I just want to wake up amazing human beings. So if you agree with that premise, type 7, because then I know you made it to the end. And on the top of that, when you type 7, realize we can't help everyone. We can only help the smart people. And there are a lot of smart, amazing human beings all over the world right now. And if you believe you're one of them, type 8. And I make you type because I want you to say things out loud and call things into existence, right? And say something good about yourself today. Because there are a lot of amazing human beings that have no clue what's going on. We're going to get to them. We're going to wake up an army of over 1 million people around the world that are ready for this crash, and they ain't going to let BlackRock buy it up. They ain't going to let Jamie Dimon and Chase buy it up. They ain't gonna let the government take more of our assets, take more of our land, take more of our utilities, and give them to the bankers. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna be 1 million people strong, and we're absolutely going to crush it. Praise God. The ninja is out.